It's November 3rd. Morning meditation went well. I think yesterday's daily challenge really challenged me to open my heart again and feel. So a lot of crying. Yeah, just a lot of crying. So this morning, or today rather, I went into the office trying to find balance, right? So I'll be going in 2 days out of the week just to feel a little more balanced with the tasks that I have. And on the drive there, the synchronicities were still there. The only difference this morning was that it was more of the unbalanced pattern that kept showing up in different ways. Now also incorporating the letters like I had mentioned, all the way to work. And for those of you that don't know, there it is again. For those of you that don't know, I work about maybe 40 minutes away. And so so it was a 40-minute drive of just me with the melody. I've been sticking to classical. The words, you know, can mess with your mind. And so classical melodies are just enough to feel at peace. But all the way up the hill to the high desert, it was all over. And every time I had a thought, because I knew that the new pattern that I'm seeing is an imbalance, I couldn't help but think, is it because of where I'm working? And I know I made another video before about that gut instinct to just leave my job. But that thought came back. And every time I had a thought about leaving my job, I actually would end up seeing the balance pattern right after, as if kind of validating, right? The universe is, God is validating, like, yeah, that's what you need to do. And all the way there, right before I exited the freeway, right, I solidified that choice that I needed to make. You know, that realization that I'm gonna be here and I'm not gonna be here at this place very long, much longer. My intuition this morning was saying December. I was probably going to give my notice, not in December, but I was going to give my notice that in December I was just gonna keep working until December. You know, just doing what I need to do, right, you know, until then. And in my head, I initially thought I had to stick around, but then I thought, you know what, I need to pass that baton to somebody else, which means I'm going to have to speak my truth very clearly. But then at the same time, the month of March also stands out, and I know MJ has been stressing those 2 months for different reasons, I guess. I'm still trying to figure out what she's referring to. But when she said March, I was kind of like doing the count. And that's 6 months out from when I initially moved out, or moved here. And so 6 months, I was like, okay, well, 6 months, what does that mean? And I honestly see traveling in my future. I see traveling not in the way that we think about traveling. I mean, yes and no, but it really, I don't know yet. That part I don't know the details. I just know I see travel. And so, you know, I walk in to my new office because I think I mentioned I had to I had to pack away all my stuff from my old cubicle because I got promoted, and I didn't take all my stuff into the office because it's like I kind of knew I'm not gonna be here that long. So I ended up taking a few things that since I'm going to be there 2 days out of the week. But so just cleaning up and just taking the moment to settle in. And the more I thought about it, the more it became more real. And I started feeling sad that I was going to make this choice. Not that it was going to happen for me, but that I was going to have to make this choice. And I, again, when that heart chakra opened up, and I was just thinking about what it's meant to work where I work. I mentioned that I love my job. I'm good at what I do. The people there are so great. And then I took my journal with me, and I started writing down, like, I recovered here after my first depressive episode. Okay, I had to like get away from, like, physically remove myself from what was going on around me at home, and I moved up there when I got this, like, the first position about 8 years ago, and that was my recovery. Like, I remember working there, and the first few years it was surreal because I couldn't believe that I was working in a place where I wasn't stressed out. It just felt like, you know, no traffic to go through. It only took 20 minutes to get to work. The drive was nice. People were wonderful. And then I realized, like, I grew here too. I was challenged in good ways, and I grew. I became more stable. And then I realized, and this was after a few supervision meetings this morning that I had with some of my clinicians. I love them so much. I've grown so much in the short amount of time that I've held this supervisor position. I'm so grateful for them. But I just realized, I was like, there's love here. There really, truly is love at my agency. And that's when that realization hit me of, like, because there is love here, that's why I have to go. That's why I have to go, because there's already love here. I mean, can the love strengthen? Yeah, it can. I truly believe there's enough love that it'll do it on its own. This has been my comfort, my sense of stability, my safety. The love here already exists. And then I think about some of the clinicians that are a little on the bitter end, you know, where the investment isn't there. And those tend to be the ones that complain, argue, push back. And it makes me sad to think that whatever hurts that they're going through internally, you know, causes them to push back this love. And if you happen to be watching this and you worked with me there, I just want to invite you to ask yourself, what is holding you back from feeling the love that this agency has? What's holding you back from all of that, you know? What feels unbalanced for you? Because that's really where the root is. There's an unbalance. And what mirrors have been brought up to your face that have shed light inside you, that have made you feel uncomfortable? I invite you to surrender the process and sit with the discomfort. Sit with it even just for a moment and ask yourself, is there any truth in what is being shared? Is there any truth about what is being shared about me, right? About you? And just acknowledge it. Give yourself grace and thank the other individual who brought it to your attention, who held up that mirror. Because just as you were brave enough to own that bit of truth, to sit with that bit of discomfort, this other person was also brave enough to shine that light with their flashlight, knowing that you might knock it out of their hands. So I keep thinking, during that time, I was taking a break at work and I kept thinking of the ripples. I kept thinking of those ripples in the water and the droplets falling all over the earth, all at the same time. Some at different times. And imagining, right, that eventually there would be a pattern of how those ripples would go about. And they'll become in sync with one another. And, you know, you skip stones along the lake, or you just drop something in water and you see the ripple, how it starts off small and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've mentioned this image before, and how even if it's like dropping at different times, right, eventually they ripple out, and then they become this one unified ripple, I guess, no matter how big or small. And because it's water, right, it's flowy, and I imagine this vibration. Do you remember that movie? Oh, of course you do, Jurassic Park, when the T-Rex is coming and there's that vibrating cup. And then I started thinking about just the vibration, right, of a specific rhythm, a beat of these ripples as they're being dropped in a different type of pattern, and eventually becoming in sync with one another, and the beat that would create, the energy, the vibe that it would give off, right? And I imagine that the beat would eventually get to the beat of an awakened heart, right? And then just thinking, wow, how powerful that would be, how it would feel, because it would be so loud that you would feel it, kind of like when you're at a concert and you can feel the vibration of the energy being blasted out of those speakers, right? You're inside, you're vibrating. That's the energy that's being, you know, given off by these instruments, by these the sounds of the voices. So this is what I drew while I was in that moment. And then as I was drawing it, I look up and it's 11:11 in the morning. So that's what happened that morning. As I exited the freeway, going back to when I was driving to work, I exited the freeway And I had already made that choice that I was going to leave. The melody on the dashboard was titled like a new life or a new path or something like that. And so I listened to MJ's message during my lunchtime. And then it talked about how things were going to be moving fast. I didn't realize December is already next month. So on the way home, I was reflecting on that again. And it's funny because in MJ's message, she talked about that she imagined like Survivor, when you literally have like a backpack and you're just kind of dropped off and you're on your own. And then I thought of the bucket list family and how they kind of sold everything, right? I mean, they had a nice little nest to fall back on, but they sold their belongings to be able to do that those first few years of, or first few months of traveling, becoming a full-time travel family. And then I thought, wow, am I gonna really be able to complete what I have to complete by next month? And then she talked about how the people who weren't ready were going to really struggle. And then I thought, how am I honoring the process? So all of this, right, is occurring during the day, and I'm owning this power of manifestation. And there were other incidences during the day with my interactions with a few other people where what I thought was unraveling in front of me, like it was occurring in front of me. So I accept, like there was more of an acceptance of that, like, okay, I'm accepting it, right? I'm not freaking out about it anymore. I'm just accepting it. So on the way home, I thought about it some more, and I thought, we're humans. We don't adapt well to change. We need time. We need a little more time. So the month of March stuck out a little bit more. We need some time to really ground ourselves. Give ourselves an opportunity to embrace this next new chapter, this next cycle. I mean, today's election day. People are scared. Toilet paper is running out again. I couldn't buy any this weekend. I bought a small. But it's just, again, just, there's so much fear, so much worry. The world is needing love. The world is needing hope. And it's really at the individual level, right? We can create our own little ripple effect. The world needs time. We need to honor the process. And in honoring the process, we honor each other to adapt, because we're all from the same source. And if I don't honor that process, and if I don't honor you, then I'm not honoring God. You are beautiful, you are valuable, you are unique, you have purpose, you have a calling. Not a job, a calling. And I remember MJ, was it MJ? Someone had said, when your heart and your mind are in alignment, you can move mountains. You can move mountains. You have to believe it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to love yourself as He loves you. Despite the mistakes, just give yourself grace. Love yourself. Love the mistakes, Because without those mistakes, you wouldn't be who you are. You wouldn't have grown, you wouldn't have learned, despite how difficult the challenge may be. So I hope you know that. I hope you really know that. This really stuck out for me today. When we understand that there are repercussions to everything we say, do, and even think, we feel inspired to maintain our payu as much as possible. I'm just asking ourselves, does it matter? There are many aspects to every situation. We begin to appreciate how interconnected we are to the rest of the world, and how even our thought patterns can lead to a whole series of consequences. I was taken from Pima Chadrin. I still haven't figured out how to pronounce her name. Yeah. I'm embracing my new calling. Whatever that is. I hope you do too. I hope you listen to your heart and your intuition, and that you ask to see the signs. To see the signs around you. To trust and surrender to the process. Just know you are loved. You are truly loved. I think I'll stop that there for now.